welcome to this fun event interview with my friend Christie Daugherty, hand lettering expert and just joyful, fun person. I've gotten acquainted with her and she's so much fun. So welcome, Christie.
Thank you for having me. I
I
feel the
love
honored.
earrings. Those are cute little,
Oh, thank you.
they look kind of like rainbows.
They are, yeah. They're
Rainbows.
rainbow.
How cute. Fun. So we are in my world. We're been studying on self-care all this summer and learning different ways to practice self-care and how to take care not just of our bodies, but our minds, our souls, our hearts, like all of that. God is interested in all of that. And um, we were just reading in Isaiah yesterday that he bore our griefs, our sorrows, our pains and sufferings. And then it goes on to say, and by his stripes we are healed. And so he, wants to bring healing to all of that. And I heard some of your story that you have dealt with some anxiety and stress, and kind of, can you share with us some of your story and how what you found to help with that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, let me see. Let me go back to I guess the last time I felt major anxiety and I started to realize, what it was. Because in my case, my heart would palpitate and I'd get this I couldn't breathe. I literally had trouble breathing, getting a good deep breath. Yeah, yeah. And so I wasn't sure exactly what it was. And whenever I was actually working at that time, and I was doing a it was a um, marketing business, and I was working so hard. I was earning trip after trip. My husband was so excited. It was just like things were going so well. Well, the pressure of that it was in sales. I mean, just sell, sell, sell. The pressure of that, I didn't realize was causing me so much anxiety. And so it became to the point where I would start having panic attacks. And when I would start to teach, I would just feel this overwhelming sense of tightness in my chest. And so eventually I was like, Lord, what do I do? And he's like, quit it all. I'm like, what? I love the friends, the people, everything, but I literally could not go on, and so I just stopped everything, and I had to get right with myself, and I had to be with the Lord and be still, and figure out, what is it that's going on. So, not only did I pray, I went to counseling. I confided in some friends that were real prayer warriors with me, and through all of that, I can say that I've overcome that feeling of fear, panic attacks, and anxiety. Medication helps too, by the way, for me. Um, and so after I was trying to get myself together, I would sew. I like to sew. And so that was kind of therapeutic for me. And then um, I was into Bible journaling too. And that just kept me in the Word, and just being in the Word and hearing over and over how the Lord's going to take care of us, that, His Word is the foundation should be of my life. And so I would listen. And so I started writing scriptures, and Bible journaling and writing scriptures. And then I thought, oh, I could put these scriptures on a bag. And so I'd print it out on fabric and I would sew it on a bag. And eventually I had a friend who said, hey, can you teach us a hand lettering class? Well, there went that anxiety feeling. I mean, I've got to be around people. I got to be in front of people, and people who know me. I am a people person. I love people. I love teaching. I love all the things. And so it's hard to believe that I went through that. And so again, that anxiety feeling, and I was just like, okay, Lord, is this what you want me to do? And so I told her, if you can get 6 people together, I would be happy to do the class. And I just didn't know, do people really care about this? And we put it out there on Facebook, and 26 people wanted to do it. And you're like, oh, there's something to this. Now, when I started my business, I was going to teach how to sew, but the Lord kept opening doors for lettering. And I mean, this has been 3 years now, and it's just nonstop. He's showing me this is what he wants me to do. Here I am today. It's no accident. We got connected through God's word, through our relationship with him. And so that's my little story about how I went from anxiety to really that feeling. After that one class, I just got some confidence. I started doing classes with 50 people, and it's been surreal. It's been a blessing. And then to be able to take this online and reach people all over the world. There's people, not just the US, but the world has been incredible, that we can go out and witness and be a light to others all over the world. It's amazing.
That is amazing. Yes. Very cool. When the technology works.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. So I know for me, like spending time writing the word, it's just a fun way to meditate on the word, right? Because you can't be thinking about all your problems at the same time that you're concentrating on how to write and, looking at all these words. So can you talk a little bit about that and the lettering and the meditating on the word and how those kind of fit together?
Absolutely. What I learned was the more that I would write it, and I got on Facebook and I was just like, just for fun, what are your favorite verses? And I got all these different verses that I was like, I don't know, I've never heard that. So I would letter it. And as you're lettering it, it's amazing that you're saying it as you write it, and just how that kind of absorbs into you, and you can start to think at least a part of the words. And then the more you write it, the more all of a sudden it becomes natural. And I find myself saying it in my mind, or when the pastor's saying it, I'll say it with him, or someone else quotes it, I'm like, yeah, I know that one. And it's because I hand lettered it, But just the act of doing art for me personally helps me learn. And when I'm in church, if I'm not, I mean, honestly, like if I am not writing notes or drawing out something, I don't hear a word they say. I have to completely like zone in, and because I'm distracted by beautiful dresses and cute little hairdos and and all the things.
Earrings and
That's right. I'm one of those. So for me, that's just my learning style. And what I also have learned is that putting all those learning styles together, saying it out loud is another thing. And I've been a part of BSF, Bible Study Fellowship, and that's what they say is when you are working on your lesson, say it out loud, because you're not only saying it, but you're hearing it, you're reading it, and then I like to embellish it. So, they say we have to get something in our mind 7 times before it kind of sticks.
Yeah.
So the more that repetition is so good. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, the speaking it out loud, I agree with that, because when we're doing that, I mean, that's how God created the world, as he spoke it. And so we're speaking his word. So we're actually partnering with God to create, what he's already said. So that's very powerful. And I think we don't even realize the power of it sometimes. So
Right. Absolutely.
that is cool. So so I love, just doodling and hand lettering and things like that. But and I know some of the other people, we can kind of get intimidated thinking, oh, I can't draw that pretty or whatever. But I've seen, Vincent, some of your classes, you make it so simple. So can you show us, just some easy and simple ways that we can have fun with hand lettering?
Absolutely. And I'm going to show what we do every Monday, and that is my little journal book. And so this is something anybody can do. And it might look, when you say simple, this is not simple what I'm going to show you, but when you practice, you eventually get to that. So I'll show you, and then I'll also show you some basic lettering tips. So it's going to take me a second.
Sure, yeah.
Get my camera. It shouldn't take long, but so you can take basic lettering and turn it into a work of art with scripture, and that's my favorite thing to letter. So I have some lettering books. I'm just going to show you real quick. This is the red one's the one that most people like to start with, but it's got basic lettering in it. I don't know what has happened here. I got paint on it. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, there's the basic strokes of lettering. And so lettering is, it's strokes that you put together to make letters. So it's drawing essentially. So everybody can draw a stick. There's our stick. And then we go into an overturn, underturn. But the trick here is, do you see how that's thin and then this is thick? Let me get my camera a little bit closer and see if it will cooperate. So the quality of the camera on Zoom is not as good. Anyway, so the thin and the thick, that is what makes the difference with lettering. So have y'all lettered at all? Done any lettering at all? Okay. And then, then you can put those strokes together to make letters. And let me show you what I love to do is you don't have to have my book, of course. You can get something off Pinterest or whatever. But grab a piece of tracing paper. And then you can practice right on top of that lettering and feel so good about it because you're actually tracing it, right? So as an example, and another thing too is to have the right tools, the right markers, pens, whatever it is. So my favorite pen on lettering to letter with is called a Pentel Touch. It is, it looks like this, and it's Japanese, but what's special about it is it's got a flexible tip. Okay, it's Pentel. And I can get you the link for it because it's kind of hard to find. I shop on Amazon, but I think Michael's carries them too. But anyway, what happens is when you put pressure on it, you can make a thick stroke. And then when you lift up, you can make a thin stroke. That's what makes lettering so pretty, is that thick and thin. So as I showed you over here, you have these basic strokes to practice. The first thing you do is you get used to the upstroke. You lift your marker as light as you can. So I say, imagine you've got a feather and you're running it across the piece of paper. You're just going to softly do that. You're not going to press down because you're going to break the feather. Now, whenever you do your downstroke, that's where you add pressure. So see how this pen can do thin and it can do thick. And then when you do another stroke, well, actually you want to get used to that. So you'll do the light stroke, you'll do the downstroke, the upstroke, the downstroke. So for hand lettering, this is perfect. For brush lettering, it's perfect to use something like this. And I'll show you how to do it with a regular marker next. Okay, and so you do light up, heavy down. And I'll show you another. Here's a loop. Okay, I'll show you just how this works together. Here's a loop, light up, heavy down. Now, what do I do with this? Well, I'm going to take this stroke and put it together. And then I'm going to have, so remember we had our loop, and then we had our overturn, and now we have a letter. So we take the strokes and put them together. So that's how hand lettering works. Now, some of you might be like, well, I don't know if I want to invest in a brush marker and that kind of thing. Well, in that case, let me show you some tricks on how to just fake it. This is called foligraphy, which means faking lettering. And you can use actually any kind of marker for this. You don't have to have a brush marker. So let's just say you have, let me find one, a Sharpie. A lot of people have Sharpies or a Crayola marker. Those work great. And what you do is, this is not going to make a thick upstroke and a thin downstroke, because this is just going to make a regular, it's not going to change just like, like the brush pen will. And so when you want to do foligraphy, you can get the same look, which I use this all the time, And let's say you write the word cat, and you're just gonna, in this
Love,
case,
I love faux calligraphy, and that's
I
what I
love it too. Because you can do it anywhere. You can do it on a sign, a garage sale sign. You can do it on anything, a piece of wood.
anything, a pencil, pen, whatever.
Yeah. So the trick is, remember, we have a downstroke, and that downstroke is thick. And so when I take this C and I go down, I'm going to make a line next to it, only on the downstrokes, okay? And then here, this is where I go down. And then I go up, so I'm not going to add a line. And then I go down here, and then I go up, and then I go down. And then when I go in and I fill this in, I've got the thick and the thin, just as I would if I were using the brush marker. The brush marker is a little bit easier because you don't have to do all that extra, but I'm just showing you that you can do it with any pen. So here is the heavy down, light up. And these are different thicknesses, so that's why one is thinner, thicker. But there's different markers. Tombow also has a brush marker, and it's going to write a lot bigger. Oops, that's too light. Can't see that one very well either. Why are they not very dark? They look like they're supposed to be dark. Okay, there we go. And this is me not taking my time. This is supposed to be thin, and this is thick. So you see how we've got that thin going up, thick, thin, thin. So those are brush markers, these two. And then let me see if I can find a Crayola marker. You can get a really good look with the Crayola markers. You can almost make them like brush markers. Why am I not finding one? Of course, the only one I see right here is yellow, and that's not going to show up. But when I've taught in-person classes, I would use the Crayola marker to show. They're inexpensive, of course. Let me look right here. Hang on one second.
So I just wanted to hop in and say, have you seen the videos you'll see on Instagram or something where somebody's doing some hand lettering, and they just go really fast and it's beautiful. And you're like, oh my gosh, how do they do that? Well, their videos are sped up. So
absolutely, definitely.
With Christie, it's slow when you're actually writing it. But
yeah,
that would be, it's more boring to watch videos, so it's more exciting to see it, so they do the hyperlapse videos in order.
Yes. Okay, so look how I'm making this Crayola marker look like it's brush lettered. Okay, so for $5-6, whatever, you can get your Crayola marker. And because it has a tip and it has a wide side, you can manipulate it to make it look like brush lettering. So I'm going to use the tip of it to go up, and then I'm going to press down and make this side thick, heavy down, light up. Remember, light as a feather. Heavy down, light up. Okay, and so eventually this will start leaning. You know how you put too much pressure? So you just flip the marker around and make sure you just get, you work on both sides of it. And if I took my time, I would make this the line a lot thinner. That's better. So that's why practice is important.
And so I noticed when you're doing that, like when we write in cursive, we just keep our pen. We don't pick our pen up for one whole word. But when you're doing this, you're like picking it up for each letter. Is that right?
Right. And again, I'm putting the strokes together. So this is light, heavy down. Okay. And so then I'm going to go to the next letter. Heavy down, light up. I do that so I can do a lot. I can control it, and then because it's hard to think. Upstroke thin, downstroke thick, that kind of thing. Okay, and then we're gonna do.
Oh, you're writing my name.
Make sure I spell it right.
No.
So yes, you pick up your word. Let's do Zanice. Overturn, overturn. So you can manipulate this marker. And it's beautiful. Crayola markers are beautiful to write with. I'm going to go ahead and do Muriel and Barb since they're on here. No one else is on here, right?
That's all I see.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to do Muriel. And we've got, this is one of the strokes. Overturn. Okay, overturn. This is an underturn. I'm going to go light up, heavy down, light up. And then you start having fun and putting loops in there. So I didn't start off with a little loop, but I love adding those. Getting really fancy. So there's Muriel. Did I spell that right? I usually, nope, I didn't. Sorry, Muriel. Let me do it again. I usually misspell something every few words because you concentrate. You're trying to concentrate on what you're doing. Is it I-E-L?
Yes.
And there's a loop. So that's one of the strokes, the loop. We've got the underturn, the overturns, put all those together. And then I'll do Barb. But if y'all want to know more, learn more, I have lots of opportunities for you. I have just standalone classes where you just work at your own pace. I have a membership group. I've got my books.
Her membership group is so much fun. That's where she was showing at the beginning the book where that's what she's creating in her membership every week. And there's a group of people, who are doing it along. And so there's that fellowship as well. And she does a devotional along with it that just is so encouraging and inspiring, and just lots of fun.
Can you hear me just one time or is it double?
Just one.
Okay, good. But yeah, it's so therapeutic. So imagine focusing on those letters as you're writing scripture. I mean, it really has helped me learn God's word a lot more. But because first of all, with the notebook I was showing you, I do a little devotion with my group, and then we go into the details of what that means. And rest a while. I just went on vacation a few weeks ago, and at the beach and with the waves, and you just think about, oh my gosh, look what God created for us. This is just incredible. And what did he intend for us to do with his beauty? And I feel like it's be still and listen. When you go on vacation and you see the mountains, it's so majestic. You're just like, how can people not believe that there is a God? Look at what he created. And it just...
I went to Colorado for a vacation a couple of weeks ago, and it's just like so majestic. And it's like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. And so I spent some time there trying to paint the mountains. So that was fun. And
that's awesome.
Resting. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then, if you are brand new to hand lettering, or even if you're not, her books are fantastic, take you step by step. So, how many books do you have?
I have three. I have three, and I was just working on a few prayer journals that are going to be available soon. They're just blank prayer journals. But this is great for a lot of people are like, I don't know when to go down. I don't know when to go up. And so what this book does is, if you can see it, It's got two colors. I don't know if y'all can see it on this camera, but it's got pink, and that tells you light stroke, and then the heavy stroke is the purple. So that's been really helpful for people. And another thing that I love is I'm all about not just lettering, but doodling. I mean, it's just like in church. I call it sermon notes, where I'm just doing my doodling. And so in this book, we do the basic lettering, but I go into a lot more. There's shadowing, highlighting, and then if you're doing card making, I love, even if it's just on the top of an envelope, I love lettering on there. But
oh my gosh, y'all need to follow her on Instagram, because she shows, how she does her envelopes. They're so cute.
because I do Happy Mail. But anyway, so here, and I'll show y'all real quick how to draw this banner, because it's so fun and it's so easy. Are we good with time?
Yes.
Okay, good. And anyway, so throughout the book, I just have doodles because it's to me, a part of the process of learning, it might be a scripture about growth or the seasons. I like to put plants on there. Anyway, lots of fun things. And then at the end, I've got some traceables that you can trace, and then you can also trace it on a sign. Just imagine a canvas or something that you can put it on. So that's that one. And then real quick, I'll flip through this is the last one I created, and people who have my first one are like, oh, you've got to do something else. So that's kind of where this one came from. This one's in color, and I'm just going to flip through real quick, but it's different styles of lettering. And then it goes into doodles, more doodles. I just love doodles. And then I've got some things to show you. What can you do with your doodling? And you can create a piece of art. You can frame this, you can copy it, use carbon paper and trace it. It's hard to see because I don't have the camera high enough. And then I go into the holidays. So lucky or blessed, not lucky, but blessed. Silly rabbit, Easter's for Jesus. Anyway, lots of fun stuff in there. Again, like all the holidays. So. Yeah, so fun. So let me show you how to draw this banner. Okay, this is I like to make up a story with it because I remember in stories. And so when I was growing up, my mom would try to help me learn things by, thinking, like even with spelling. No matter what the word was, she would help me think in pictures, right? I'm trying to think, of course, I can't think of a word right off the bat, but okay, to draw a banner, you're going to start, if you have a pen, do it with me, because you can use any pen for this. Okay, you're going to draw a rectangle, any size rectangle, it doesn't matter. Just a rectangle. And we're not worried about straight lines. We're just getting down the shapes. And that's what I talk about with lettering too. And the beginning, you just want to get down the feeling of like the upstroke and the downstroke. So here, we're not worried. I don't worry about all the nitpicky stuff, because you know what? When you're a perfectionist, it takes away the fun. You could eventually get out line paper and all that, but let's just have fun and relax and not worry about how perfect it is, okay? Now imagine this is a robot body, okay? Now we're going to make some robot arms, and we're going to make some robot legs. Okay, do you see a robot?
No.
Now he's got feet, but his feet are so long, they're as long as his arms. Okay, now we're going to do a sideways letter V on each side. Isn't this easy? And now we're going to make little baby triangles, okay? And we've got most of the shape already. All we have to do is draw a line to complete that triangle on each side. And now we've got our banner. And then you can color this in to make it look 3D. How easy, y'all. How easy. And then
she makes it so easy.
It's so easy. So then you can write inside your banner. Just like that. And you can put this, like I said, on a card, on an envelope. it's just therapeutic to do it for yourself. Get a journal and just start doodling, and don't be afraid. Doodling is, there's no wrong marks. You can do anything, swirls and lines, and it's just, there's just something about letting your mind go and not being judgmental about it. Okay, let me show you a flower and then I really will be done.
Really, yeah, that is a really great point, because for the longest, I wouldn't draw because, I'd start to do something and it wouldn't turn out how I wanted. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
And let it be, not perfect.
That's
So
right. And in school, like I was always doing, if I was in school taking notes, I'm going to be doing this and this and this, just doodling. Let your mind go. Freedom. It's so, so free. Okay, let me do a flower real quick. Now this flower, I'm going to show you first, and then you can, I'll show you, I'll break it down a little bit, but this is my favorite flower to do. Isn't it cute? And then we'll put a leaf by it. So easy. And these flowers, I have drawn a million of them because they're just therapeutic. They're just fun. So go ahead with me if you want and draw a circle. And then we're going to do kind of like a sliver of a moon. And we're going to keep making that same shape, but it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. So this time we're just going to go halfway up. Okay, and then from now on, we're going to touch the line across from it. We're going to kind of curve around. And so this is across from it. So we're going to curve around to that one. And then we're going to go across from it here, curve around to that one. And it doesn't have to be curved. Sometimes I make mine like kind of triangle-y. There is no perfect way to do it. Your style is your style. You are the only you there is. God created us all completely unique and different. If you go outside and you look at flowers, no flower is exactly the same. Look at our flowers. They're not going to be exactly the same. So there's no wrong way to do it. Okay, now we're going to go up and touch the line across from it and so on. And there you go. That's it. And see, this one looks way different than that one. I can't make the same one twice. And I don't want to. Okay, and then to do a leaf, we're just going to make an arch. And another arch connecting. And that's great just like that, but I like to do a twin. I think it looks good to have one underneath it. Just kind of underneath it like that. And there we have it. So fun. Did you do it?
I did it.
There you go. That looks great. And look at your pretty fun with that swirl. I love that. I love that. So y'all,
you also teach iPad lettering, right?
Yes, I do all the same thing in an iPad class. I love that. That's so fun. And lots of techniques and fun stuff. So it's more than lettering. It's lettering with a purpose. And that's what I need to call my lettering. Lettering with a purpose. That's good. I need to change the name of my business. Anyway, does anybody have questions? I have really enjoyed being here. So, ladies in here, can you see yourself doing this?
Did you do it, Denise?
Mine is bad.
No, you cannot say that. That looks amazing.
That's
See,
cute.
don't judge yourself. Then it's not fun anymore. I really think it looks amazing. I love that. And it is different. And I like how your banner's long. And that's the thing. You could take the very same steps and you can make it long, you can make it wide. You can, just because you know the robot story, now you can hopefully, can y'all do it by yourself now? Good.
Yeah. So what I'm learning, I'm glad you brought that up about, not judging or, whatever, because what I'm learning from someone else is that when we're judging it, we're in our left mind, the analytical side, logical, whatever. And it's our right brain that's the creative, imaginative, whatever. And that is when we get into that space, that's where it's easier to connect with God. And so just doing that, without judging, just to play, that helps us to be more receptive to hearing God.
Yeah. That is so brilliant. I
Yeah.
love that. I'm gonna have to steal that. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Because when I'm relaxed, I'm more open to let him in. But if I'm stressed and I'm thinking about the laundry and all the things and I'm making my list, it's harder. It's harder to stop and focus. But if I am just like free doodling or whatever, it's a lot easier to let him in.
So thank you so much, Christy, for coming and giving us these tips.